Third stimulus check and third stimulus package. It will be debuted later this week, as early as potentially tomorrow. It's Biden's stimulus. It's everything you wondered about. $2,400 of SSI and SSDI, multiple stimulus checks, FPUC, retro, EIDL, PPP, all those things you wondered about. Will they be coming out? Will they be modified? Or will they be exactly as you had wondered about, like hazard pay? In this video, I'm going to go over the analysis of each of them one at a time, and I'll go over a breaking news report issued minutes ago where they're talking about eligibility for items, saying that certain items are sort of broadly done, too broadly, need to be narrowly focused. Not changing the amount, which is really good, at least what the discussion was about, but changing who is eligible for certain things. And I'll be going over your comments yesterday. It's breaking developments across the board, and in the next 48 hours, you're going to see absolutely everything you've wondered about for 6 months. The surprise is going to be gone. The only thing that's going to be left to guess about is, what is she doing with that hairstyle? I don't understand it. I keep on guessing what she's doing with that hairstyle. This is third stimulus check and third stimulus package. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm so excited for you, and Sirloin is excited as well. Move all the way. Because I was at the casino last night. That's sort of why I wasn't doing home LA today. And he's like, he's very excited to see the third stimulus check and third stimulus package as I am. Ooh, do you think there'll be $12 ice cream in there? I'm like, no, there's not going to be $12 ice cream in there. What, do you think there's going to be more money for the cows? I'm like, cows got enough money. You have another round of agricultural EIDL. Cows don't need any more moolah, but I need another Cadillac. Well, in this video, I'm going to go over who's going to get a Cadillac and who's not on the third stimulus check and third stimulus package. FPUC, retro, EIDL, hazard pay, all these wonderful things like MSC, multiple stimulus checks, we've been wondering about for a long time. We're finally going to have the answers. So please subscribe, because in the next 48 hours, you're going to see an avalanche of news. Avalanche. Also, like this video. Also, hit that alert button in the front of this channel so you get an alert when I next go live, which is actually right after this video, about 10 minutes after this video. And then also consider being a Purple Power member. Either a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Casino VIP by hitting the join link on this video. In this video, I'm going to go over everything in third stimulus package. Everything from the check, to the items, to the routing times, to the discussion in the last 2 hours about maybe modifying certain things and your reactions. I think your reactions are the best testament to what may happen. Because when I pooled 2,000 people in the room last night and the night before on Purple, every night at 7 o'clock, viewers had very, very consistent responses on what they thought is going to happen this week. Let's see if everyone's also correct. All right, with that, let's get to the breaking news. Let's go over each item one at a time. The stimulus check. Will there be a stimulus check in the third stimulus package? Of course. Joe Biden last week said the third stimulus package will have the remainder of the $2,000 EID, the $2,000 stimulus check. It will have Cash Act 2020 in there. Meaning if you got a $600 stimulus check, you would get an additional $1,400 on top of that. Or if you're adult dependent, you would get the remainder to get to $2,000. You would get a full $2,000, and you would get that retro check back in January, back from March of last year that you never got under the first stimulus package. Now the question is whether there will be multiple stimulus checks. As we all know, Harris, Sanders, and Markey wrote the bill. The VP Harris wrote the bill. $2,000 a month every month for 6 months. Said that if $1,200 stimulus check doesn't cut it. That was her exact word. So why are we sending out a $1,400 stimulus check to cover you from now to June? Actually, to cover you from March of last year all the way to June of this coming year. To cover you for almost a year and a half. Why is $1,400 sufficient? Will there be multiple stimulus checks? How much will they? Will they be retroactive stimulus checks? What will be the amount? This is what the viewers and I thought. First, there's not going to be retroactive stimulus checks. You're not going to get stimulus checks from April last year. They cut you out of that. Will there be several checks going forward? Viewers unanimously thought no. I thought there may be a few, but not 6. not $12,000 worth of checks, not a check every month for 6 months. I think there still will be several checks, as Joe Biden has promised. Next, hazard pay. Hazard pay. Last night I asked viewers and the night before, do you think there's going to be hazard pay? Joe Biden last week spoke about hazard pay. He spoke about it in his transition papers. He talks about it every time, but he never gives a numbered value to it. In fact, he uses expressions like down payments. Well, we haven't got to a down payment on hazard pay. We haven't got a Zippo on hazard pay. Pelosi want to give you $10,000 of hazard pay. I asked viewers last night, are you going to get hazard pay? They said yes. I agree. Then I asked viewers, are you going to get $10,000 per person? Viewers said absolutely no. I agree. I think it's too much money. And it is too much money because the eligibility that Nancy Pelosi wrote was too broad. It included nearly every single walking human can get $10,000 because she just made it very, very, very broad. Can Joe Biden change the eligibility? Of course he can. But I asked viewers, what do you think is going to happen? Unanimously, viewers thought that the hazard pay will come in at about $5,000 and be more narrowly tailored to less people than Nancy Pelosi originally had it. Interesting. A new report issued minutes ago, in the last 30 minutes, talked about eligibility on the third stimulus. And it basically said that there's a concern that there's money being given without understanding of who's getting the money. And that's sort of consistent with what I was talking about on this channel. I last night talked about an Uber and Lyft driver as an example. An Uber and Lyft driver may have got $7,000 in 2019 for earnings, because Uber and Lyft drivers don't make $35,000 a year. Let's say $6,000. Under Nancy Pelosi, they can get upwards of $100,000 of grants because there's a grant after grant after grant after grant. Hazard pay, they can get $10,000. Why are they getting $10,000 if they only make $6,000 a year? They're getting more in free money than they actually make. That's not stimulus. That's paying their way. So that's what the article today talked about. That first of all, and this is something that is a discussion. It is not law. It's not law. It's a discussion. The article first talked about the stimulus check and said that stimulus checks maybe have to have a reduction in the threshold. That maybe giving stimulus checks to people who make $75,000 is too much money. That maybe we should lower it to people who make $40,000 or less as a stimulus check. That was the first discussion. The next discussion was, well, we want to ensure that they're using the stimulus check on buying things as opposed to using the stimulus check to pay down debt, to pay off past bills. Well, I don't like that idea because you have debt because you didn't have stimulus checks. I mean, that's sort of obvious. The other thing that was talking about was perhaps we have a stimulus check that is dependent upon you filing a 2020 tax return, and that as soon as you file that 2020 tax return in, let's say, February, then you get the stimulus check, because if you're not paid, and that it's dependent upon the activity of 2020. This is a common theme that I'm starting to hear percolate. What is the economic stimulus of the third stimulus package based upon? The article went over in detail what I've been talking about for a while. That second stimulus, the $600 from last fall, was based upon your 2019 and 2018 tax return. The first stimulus was based upon your 2018 and 2019 tax return. But is the third stimulus based upon the 2019 tax return or the 2020? The article talks about that maybe you should look at the 2020, that if you really did financially get a hit in 2020, then you should get stimulus. And if you didn't, then you shouldn't get the amount of stimulus that Joe Biden wants. Interesting. It's discussion. It's not law yet. All right, so what else does Joe Biden want to give you under the third stimulus package? FPUC retro, the most controversial item of all of them. $600 a week back to July 25th, and then bringing it all the way to forward into the end of June, continuing PUA and UI all the way to the forward into June. So I asked viewers a series of questions about that last night, and I had my opinions as well. And I asked them the night before. I asked viewers, do you think Joe Biden's going to do any value of FPUC retro? I don't care if it's $1. They said no. They don't think he's going to do anything retro. Do you think Joe Biden's going to do $600 a week going forward? They all said yes. I said, do you think it's fair that he's giving people unemployed in 2020 $600 a week, but nothing to the people who were unemployed from July to December? They said it's absolutely unfair. My opinion, I think it would just be shocking if he doesn't give anything retro and then suddenly gives an insane amount of money, like, well, not insane amount, a very good amount of money, like $600 a week going forward for 40-something weeks. It doesn't pay you anything for the last 20 weeks you're unemployed. It wouldn't make logical sense. Next, EIDL grant. Will the remainder of the $10,000 EIDL grant be paid under the third stimulus? That's what everyone and Joe Biden has said. Viewers have asked that question last night. They said yes. I agree. I agree. The reason you're having all these problems with EIDL, with PPP, is because of Jovita Carranza. She's gone. And 2 days from now, she's gone. 3 days from now, she's gone. There's a new SBA head in there. And Democrats and Republicans both wanted you to have the full $10,000 EIDL grant if you applied last year. That was the first thing. They also wanted you to have a bigger EIDL loan if you wanted a bigger EIDL loan. A lot of you have done EIDL loan increases and can't get them approved. They wanted you to have it. It doesn't hurt the federal government. It helps the federal government. They make more money on you. It's a loan. I think that's going to happen as well. So what about EIDL going forward? Yes, they will reopen EIDL under Joe Biden going forward for new grants and new loans. And then for the prior ones, they'll fix them as well. Viewers categorically agree. There'll be another round of PPP as well. So what about the other things? CDC grant, Lifeline grant? I don't think they're going to happen. Viewers agree. Lifeline grant is $50,000, up to $50,000 based upon your cost of goods sold. And also a CDC grant is based upon your frontline workers getting a grant. Duplicative. It is duplicative. One sounds like hazard pay and the other one sounds like EIDL grant. So viewers are now wondering then how big the third stimulus package will be. I asked viewers that question as well. And I also asked viewers what they thought about Joe Biden's promise for $7 trillion in stimulus for the schools and $9 trillion to fix the highways. They thought, what the world is that? They universally thought it was an insane sum of money. So with his claim for those numbers, which he's actually said, how much do you think Joe Biden is going to ask for a third stimulus? Viewers were worried, and they universally agreed that if the third stimulus package is where I think it should be, $5 to $7 trillion, you're good. If the third stimulus package is $1 to $3 trillion, you are really in big trouble, because Nancy Pelosi will get state and local for $1 trillion, as Joe Biden has promised. Finally, I asked viewers, what do you think about Joe Biden's promise from last Friday that student loan debt forgiveness will occur at $10,000 per person? That's what he said last Friday. They all said he's going to do it. I agree. So it's interesting as you sit back and you look at things. It's very fascinating that viewers across the country, very different viewers with different walks of life, with different type of backgrounds, some on SSI and SSDI, some on hazard pay, some that qualify for hazard pay, some that they're unemployed, all agreed upon things universally. When I asked them about SSI and SSDI, $2,400 a month, $2,400 for 2020, with a step of about 20% and a lifetime and a new benchmark at the end of the year, all of them said he was going to do that. I agree as well. It was interesting. Everyone agreed on the things. Everyone thought that certain things were going to happen. So why would he not do everything that he has so promised? It's not like he's going to face a blockade. And then viewers wondered when. My concern is when as well. A new report, you're just hearing this afternoon on this channel right now in this video, a new report says that the Georgia certification of votes may go to the final day as they are allowed under law. I've been detailing for over 2 weeks that under Georgia law, they have until this Friday to certify all the results by county by county. They don't have to wait all the way, but the indications now suggest, as of this afternoon, they're going to wait to the final day to get it done. That means the end of this Friday. Then the Secretary of State of the state of Georgia has an additional week to certify the results. Is he going to wait an additional week? I just don't think so. So when will those senatorial winners, Warnock and Ossoff, be sworn in? Presumably on, around, or before Inauguration Day. When will this third stimulus become a bill? When we actually see the document, not the law, but the document. Viewers and I think that we're not going to see it this week. We think it's going to be slowed out. We think we're going to hear about tomorrow or the day after in some sort of vague provisions, but we're not going to see the details. Then I asked viewers this big question, and the answers were shocking. I asked viewers, do you sense there's an element of urgency by President-elect Joe Biden to get this third stimulus package done and on his table on January 20th signed so the money can go out? The answers were universally no. Viewers do not think that there's a sense of urgency from the president-elect to get the money out quickly. Here's the problem. They see their answer is actually looking to be very much true. The House of Representatives have done nothing. We've not seen the bill. They can pass the bill in the House. They can send it to the Senate and let it sit at the Senate and have it ready to go on the 20th. They haven't done anything. So when are they going to do this? Are they going to do this in 2 days? Meantime, what's percolating across the board, is some of the discussions, like I discussed earlier in this video, that maybe we should only have stimulus checks unless you made $30,000 last year. Or maybe we should have stimulus checks unless you filed a tax return. Maybe the longer you let things sit around, the more they fester and the more discussion things just drag out. Do you like it? I don't. Ultimately, we're going to hope that when it's debuted in the next 24, 48 hours, it's as delicious as promised. And more importantly, we're going to hope that it's put to a vote ASAP. Meantime, a new report also this afternoon, you're only hearing on this channel, says that the Federal Reserve can order the Treasury to do things faster. The current sending out of the $600 stimulus check now from the IRS indicates that if you don't get it by January 15th, there may have been a problem. If there was a problem, that suggests that Treasury may be under the wing of Federal Reserve going forward to ensure that they send out payments faster, accurately, and get in people's hands. There is concern that IRS has not done the type of job they should have done with the $600 stimulus check. That it's coming too slow and is being delayed too much across the board. If you have questions or comments in today's video, drop them in the comments below. Also, like this video and hit that alert button so you get an alert when I next go live, which is going to be just a few minutes after this video. I'm Bean and Mitch. And meantime, consider joining by clicking the join button. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, a Calcino VIP like thousands of others on this channel. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay LA for more.